So we all love a good redemption story, and that for Warcraft 3 Reforged really is what so many of us wanted, right? Especially for, the likes of Grubby. The people who, that is their game. They deeply love it, and they obviously felt pretty damn betrayed by the whole situation that's went on. And there was a bit of hope, We'd heard of a new patch who would add in features that were promised, that seemingly was only the start of quite a few things that would happen for this game. Unfortunately, the anniversary for War 3 did come and go without anything particularly groundbreaking, which was unfortunate. I think that would have been a good way for them to continue the redemption story. But today, we do have the rather unfortunate news that, the patch that they promised back in June has came out. And sadly, that's bad news. Stop. He's already dead. If it was good news, this wouldn't happen.
No.
It's quite unfortunate. And it does seem as well that for other classic Blizzard game titles, including the newly released D2 Resurrected, there are some back-end problems.
Yeah, there is something is going on, and I cannot say what it is, but there's definitely something going on at Blizzard's kind of not active development in the kind of the maintenance part of the company. I know how they work on the kind of older games and keep them up. Something is just going very, very wrong, and I have no idea how or why, but it looks so grim for basically looking at any of their I put just going, can you I don't want to say they can't catch a break, because they're the ones hitting themselves. Basically, it's all their own actions a lot of the time. But it's Blizzard cannot catch a break in any capacity here for anything they're doing.
Yeah, and I guess that's why we're talking about it today, because this is not what I expected.
No, this is,
and I don't know how it happened either,
yeah.
Because testing happens at large companies.
This was on PTR for a good while too.
Yeah, and this is why it's weird. And the thing is, though, some things will not appear in a test environment. They will only appear in a live environment for a large variety of reasons.
Yeah. But that is there's a truth to that, but it also can't be used as an excuse for we physically couldn't have tested that, because you can get a production environment that is very, very close to a test environment that is extremely close to live, just without the volume and just without some of the other things. But you can always good test. The point of good testing is to be able to replicate real world as much as humanly possible. But clearly there's something going on where this patch is all fine. This is wonderful. This works. People in PTR are going, a couple bugs, but whatever, time to release, because the bosses said release time. Sweet, off it go. We'll just plug it into battle.net, and oh Jesus, what's happened? And that seems to be a little bit of what's happened. It wasn't tested well enough, basically.
Evidently, yeah. I don't believe for a second that this is malice from the developers or anything. I imagine they're coming in trying to pick up the pieces, and it's very unfortunate that something bad has came with the first, major enough release.
From what, according to what they're saying, we'll go into it later on, but what they're saying in a new team kind of thing, or a new kind of responsibility for the Warcraft 3, and kind of going, okay, yeah, we're sorry about that. I was a bit scuffed. We'll fix it. You're if this is what you call fixing the game, I think most people would really rather you didn't.
Yeah, so what's collated in the forums here, right? So games not registered in the profile or leaderboard, where it just says failed to receive data after each game. People reporting that stats are updated after a certain amount of time has passed, but some games never get registered in the profile or the leaderboard. Games loading so fast you don't find out your opponent's race. That's really funny. What does that mean for your openers and stuff? Because playing StarCraft 2, the one thing that'll put the fear of God into you, even more than knowing that a Protoss Death Ball is in your future, is seeing the random button and thinking, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, what if it's one of those people? The people who are high-ranked randoms on ladder? They're terrifying. Yeah. A slight mouse delay compared to before the patch, and that's lovely considering this is a micro-heavy game. Match history not working correctly, destructibles and neutral passive buildings that keep getting right-clicked on before being destroyed will retain a yellow tint on death and decay. Something's more major than minor.
Yeah.
Really, if I was to kind of skip through it, the main issue is matches not being recorded as wins.
Yeah.
Remember that ranked ladder was one of the big features here.
Yeah.
So can you imagine you have a tense game? You really, really earned your victory. It doesn't register.
That's just, we said we'll ship this feature. We ship this feature. It's unusable. That means you didn't ship the feature, right? Like, am I smoking something here? Where it's like, hey, here's the rank ladder. The rank ladder doesn't work like a rank ladder. It's a rank ladder and all the steps are wrong, or it teleports you around randomly. That's not like that's not done. That's not there.
Yeah.
But that's just not. It's just not it. They didn't deliver it.
So what if I told you?
Oh dear.
It was a sneaky middleman. Right? He's found the pipe with all the data in it, and he's siphoning away some fuel. So Blizzard said the players achieved 3.1 million 1v1 wins in less than a week.
Not bad.
I mean,
That's not bad. No.
that is an impressive number.
I'm gonna say, yeah, I would. Maybe it's not exactly. Maybe there's something going on here that's counting that wrong. I think because 3.1 million wins is like. You know what? 3.1 million wins isn't that bad, or it's a lot. But having that with only 74 losses is pretty impressive.
Yeah, because here's Mr. Mamak, who is is ranked 24. Seems to be playing the orc based on the race here. MMR just shy of 6,000 with 3.1 million wins to 74 losses.
Not bad.
Now, how you have that many wins and you're only ranked 24, I don't honestly understand at this stage. But while this is obviously an unconfirmed as hell thing, please tell me it's not this. Please tell me this isn't how it happened.
I mean, it is clearly there is a really I don't want to say like an amateur error because it could be a product of a lot of things happening in like the battle not back end. This is a bug, but it's like this just seems like you did not test this in an environment close enough to live for this to count. How do you go? Okay, well here's a leaderboard, right? What you do is you see whenever someone wins, right, and you have their name and you have their profile ID, whatever. Put a win on. How, for that to go wrong, it must be something absolutely fucking insane happening somewhere along the pipeline, because you can't imagine that like a simple bug. You read the code and go, yeah, that code looks good, and then somewhere else it's going horribly wrong.
Like if you told me that somehow there was a humongous solar flare that somehow flipped a bit and that's what caused this, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, though, is this is, per, of course, Artosis, legend in the StarCraft scene. I have listened to many hours of that man casting games. Brood War, StarCraft Remastered, which, by the way, StarCraft Remastered, success.
Excellent.
Very good. Brilliant. Assets done by Lemon Sky, proving that Lemon Sky can do a bang-up job whenever they are given appropriate, direction. Basically, whenever they're outsourcing to a good team.
Yeah, Blizzard were the problem with War 3 Reforged, no one else.
Yeah, I think it's very easy for people to say, oh, it's the outsourced people in not America, and blah, blah, blah. We'll put all the blame in that. Absolutely not the case. No. Lemon Sky have done loads of fantastic work on loads of different projects. It was Blizzard mismanaging.
What's that? What's that? The allegory they use about if you check your own shoe if it stinks like. Yeah.
So the StarCraft Remastered ladder has been broken for 2 days, and what was really funny is the reply to that from Grubby. The Reforged ladder has been broken for 5. Please.
It's full on. Just no. Our game's more broken than yours. Blizzard, please help me first. Our game's been broken for longer. Yeah. That's it. Like for that to happen, you immediately go, okay, well there must be something going on. Did a Warcraft 3 patch break StarCraft Remastered? Arguably, there must be something going on in Battle.net in the back end for some sort of reason, because I imagine it's all hooked into the same stuff, which is one of the problems of a too big to fail kind of system like that. I think.
Now, there's also just some more, we could perhaps say, traditional bugs, like people unable to play the Founding of Durotar campaign because of crashes and some other issues that have cropped up. But we should say Blizzard are aware of these issues. They are taking steps to resolve at least some of them, and they have actually made some progress. So here we go. This is from Kyvax, which, again, Holly Longdale was, she was producing, I forget her new job title, but of course she was producing a lot of the classic WoW stuff. Kyvax is a community manager who, we see in the World of Warcraft front on a very regular basis. And you can see here, hey, timestamp, August 18th, here's what we are investigating. Another timestamp. So they're updating the community. They are actively working in this. Remember when D2R came out and they were having live environment server issues that were really just tricky to pin down?
Yeah.
There were problems. It almost reminds me, and this is almost certainly apples to oranges, but PlayStation Network. Because a lot of their things, and remember we had the whole ongoing discourse about like the PSP store being pulled and all of that, and it really seemed to transpire that they just had so much accrued technical debt and old things, and I suppose I just have to wonder what's going on here. And funny enough, actually, Mike Ybarra, the current president of Blizzard, he was heading up Battle.net. Now he's a recent.
It's his fault. Yeah.
He's recent enough to the company, so this stuff's not really going to be his fault or anything. But it's interesting. Now, look, a patch having some unintended consequences is a part of game development. Sometimes, basically, Captain Hindsight. Something can seem obvious in hindsight, and you kick yourself afterwards that you didn't see the damn thing coming. That happens to all of us in our lives. Software is made by humans. It's the same shit. Now, obviously, processes, that sort of thing, obviously not up to snuff. But, there's a degree of that we can all accept. What's really rough here is that this patch had a lot of work to do. This patch was the culmination of a story that started with Mike Ybarra on his stream saying, hey, we've got people working in this. Things slowly got more and more official over time to the point where they said, okay, War 3, there's a team, they're working on it, there's a patch coming up, there will be more. Their very words were, rather than tell you what we're going to do, we're going to let our actions speak.
Yeah, and boy, have their actions told us story.
And that story, here's the thing, that story may not even be true. Like, there's a very literal story, and this is a part of that story. In their head, the story that their actions were supposed to tell is the things that they're developing, the plans they have for the game. This is only phase 1, there's going to be more stuff. But I suppose that's it. If it's No Man's Sky, you're Sean Murray, and you're like, okay, social media blackout, we're just going to drop 6 years of free content patches and make this thing be good. Well, that was kind of predicated on those content patches being really good. So this is absolutely not at all what needed to happen for the story. And the story's important here. If you look at 2022 into 2023, the whole thing is a grand narrative of the good times are finally here. They have a win in D2 Resurrected, right? And then they have, multiple announcements, Dragonflight stuff, talking about Diablo at Summer Games Fest. Yeah. And of course, if it's a one for us, one for them, obviously, Immortals there for the investors. We have Overwatch finally waking up. We're going to be able to play Overwatch in like 2 months. Overwatch PV. So, we're going to have Overwatch, World of Warcraft. Well, no, we're going to have Wrath Classic, Overwatch, Dragonflight, Overwatch PvE, Diablo 4, Diablo 4 Season 2, all while Overwatch is having its 9-week-long seasons. Apparently, Dragonflight is going to have a faster patch cycle, with smaller patches but more frequent ones to keep the game feeling fresh. Like, this whole thing, the unannounced survival game, this is all basically saying, hey, we know we have had empty years, and in some of those empty years, the only thing that we did was say, hey, pre-order War 3 Reforged. It'll be awesome. Oh, no. Wait, what? Did we just sell people pre-orders and actually we haven't done the... Oh, dear. Like, they have had an awful narrative, obviously punctuated by all of the things that came to light. So that's what this next while is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's why we're kind of covering this as being newsworthy, because there's a lot of times like, look, if Apex Legends has a new season and they have some bugs and, in a few days those bugs get fixed, it's like, all right, shit happens. We'll all get past it. But here, this is like, this literally does not impact that many players because this is more of a niche experience. I say that as somebody who deeply loves the genre, don't worry. But what this represents is really rough. How this story may spiral out of control, right?
Yeah, like everything you said there about what's coming up is completely like, that's all promised. None of it is in the hands of players. Obviously, a little bit of Overwatch 2 is there, and that's been kind of people enjoying that okay, roughly. A couple of issues. Dragonflight Alpha is looking pretty good in a couple of different ways. There's still some still some worries they need to sort of deal with overall, but it feels like, to me, the way this plays out in my head is they're at the big reveal there, the first step of the, we're back, baby, we're Blizzard. We know we did everything horribly wrong. We've kind of shit the bed in every capacity, every literal capacity we possibly could. We're, terrible headlines forever, but now we're on our road to redemption. And here we've got Warcraft 3 Reforged, the pinnacle of like our ridicule, something that no one will ever forget how bad that was. Here's the first extension of the olive branch, the first step in this path, and then they take a step, they fall sideways, and the melodica cover of the Jurassic Park theme song starts playing, and everyone's just like, that's not how to start your like path. That's not like one step at a time, sure, but the step has to be actually a step, and not a step backwards or a step sideways or falling down. And then, your trousers rip on the way down or something, whatever kind of dumb slapstick comedy is happening. But that's what it feels like, where they're like, right, we're back, except we're not. We fucked this up, whoops, sorry. And now it's like, oh, we're immediately on the back foot again. So it's like, it's just a colossal loss, because whatever reason, maybe they just didn't give whoever's doing this enough time to test it properly, or the right tools to test it properly. Because we've no idea who's working on Warcraft 3 Reforged, because there's no clear team within Blizzard that's like denominated to do it. All we know is they have a team, and we've no clue, and it's not the classic team, because they got unceremoniously booted from the company after Warcraft 3 Reforged was a nightmare, and they couldn't fix it in time. And so it's like, what is happening here that you're not giving this game, which should be like, it is their No Man's Sky. It is this game is where your reputation lives and dies.
Yeah.
As far as like the like mind share and like the culture wave is concerned, and they just didn't do it right. Could be a small problem that they'll fix quickly, but even then, it's like the fact that it's been 5 days now and the ladder doesn't work. Well, I suppose it's actually 6 or 7 now, and you're like, this is not how to do it. This is just yet another failure when they've promised better, and you're like, well, when are we going to see the promises come to fruition? And that's obviously the whole Hearthstone thing as well. You're like, Jesus Christ. Can you not get one single win? Can you not do literally one thing right without immediately undercutting it somehow?
Yeah.
And that's the cultural vibe. Obviously, individual elements are going well, but it's about the story. It's about the narrative. It's about how people and prospective customers feel, and what the narrative around your company and your games are. And it's just consistently just misstep after misstep.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing where, we all think, well, if I was dictator of Blizzard for the day, nothing like this would happen. Yeah. But the thing that's very easy to forget is large companies, they dilute talent at scale.
Yeah.
That's not to say they make people worse. They might make it for people like harder to actualize themselves. I think the point is, the more links there are in the chain sometimes, the more points where things can go a bit wrong, the easier it is for things to slip between the cracks, the easier it is for something that should be a very good, coordinated overall sort of strategy to just have little, weaknesses in the armor, and this unfortunately is one of those. Now, we know there's a dedicated team working on this. I do imagine that this stuff will be fixed. I think what they need to do next time, though, is they just need to drop a big old chunk of free content.
Yeah, that's what everyone else who wants like goodwill in the industry is doing right now. That's what everyone else is doing. They're going, hey, feedback. We're taking, was it Destiny just announced no more sunsetting old expansions? And
wow.
and that was the thing where everyone was really contentious about that. And at every step along the way, they said, listen, we don't even like doing this, but technically we have to. There's technological reasons we're forced to do this in order to keep install sizes low, stuff like that. But there was heavy feedback, there was strong feedback, there was consistent feedback, and also players liked the game, so they still had the money coming in and stuff like that. So obviously what happened there at Bungie was, maybe it was Sony money, maybe it was even Sony expertise that they got in touch with or something. But at some point along the chain, they went, this is a technological problem that's stopping us from delivering the experience we want to deliver. And people feel strongly about it. We're going to do what the people want. We're going to solve this problem. And I'm sure there'll be like a, because I haven't really like followed the news for a while, because that was announced like, that was it Tuesday there? So there's definitely like, there might be a follow-up blog post on that, and like how they solved that problem or something. But that's the thing where they sat down and went, problem solved. What, we don't know how they solved it. It could have cost them a lot of money, could have cost them a lot of time. Maybe they had to go completely out of the way. Maybe it impacted production in other ways. But they did solve the problem fundamentally. Of we're going to do what players want, and that was they did the 110%, the 120%, what they thought was impossible or too expensive or too difficult, and they did it for players. And that's the thing where that's you in today's video game environment, you can't just do the normal thing and be like, oh, here's a game, that's fine, okay, sure, here's a little bit of content. If you want to actually win the hearts and minds of players, you need to be going, we love you to pieces, we can prove it. And that's what Blizzard are doing the exact opposite of basically through their actions, not their words, saying we don't give a fuck about you.
That's the thing. Well, in this case, it's like it's through the unintended result of likely the developer's well-intended actions.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Where that's the thing where that's
to the end user that may not matter.
Yeah, to the end user, it is them going, we did the bare minimum to show you up.
Yeah,
and even that wasn't good enough.
People are going to think like, oh really, the patch sucked? Okay, well I guess I'm done. And that's the thing. People won't really be giving them as much of the benefit of the doubt or that sort of thing.
Nor should they.
Yeah, quite naturally, because of, I mean, especially with this game, the state that it the state that it ended up in. Yep. So that's the story. I'll let you know what happens next when it happens.
Yep.
Hopefully they're able to turn this one around. This is certainly a unwelcome and unfortunate turn in the road. We thought things were, I think macro scale things are in a better direction because now there literally is a team working in this, and that was not the case. But in terms of the public relations side, and I mean, even the size of the active community that they're developing this for, it's pretty damn rough. Overall, got to look at how Microsoft got Age of Empires in such a good state. We need to look at that and think, how do we do this? So that's it from us. Look, if you want to support what we do, you could check out the game we're developing, a narrative RPG survival setting. I think, stuff's been testing really damn good with the demo, so you can check it out down the Steam page down below. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow with some more news.
Goodbye.